Zlurpcast!
Hi, Zlurpcast TV. This is that show where it's people who kind of know a little bit about games, but not really a lot. You're not going to learn how to play a game. You're just here. You have time to kill. You're tired of spanking it to Joe Rogan videos. Hey, man, whatever.
Guilty.
Personally, I need to watch Fear Factor to get off. But if you want to just hear him talk, hey, whatever. This is Zlurpcast TV. There's three of us here. I made top row on a technicality. Xtreme, the guy with the hat, is not here. I hope he pops in later. I don't know. He's in Ohio. So, damn yous, Ohio. Again.
The Canada of America.
Yeah. So we've got Valdric in the flannel. We've got Biran, our resident basketball jersey guy. You wouldn't think he'd be like, if you were taking a poll and of the four of us, Xtreme would probably win the who would wear basketball jerseys. Not Biran. No offense.
None taken.
It's are you getting out of your comfort zone, like a midlife crisis kind of thing?
Maybe. I just like how they look. I don't really follow basketball that closely, but I'm an outfit guy. Yeah.
Do you say you've been like studying up to go with the jerseys?
I have. I did a little bit of research, and I've been watching some YouTube highlight stuff, and that's where I would ask you. I'm like, why don't they play defense anymore?
I will tell you this: it's half don't want to, but
right.
The other half is it's actually very difficult to play defense now
because you get called for fouls for everything.
You get called for
but not traveling. They don't call traveling anymore. Do they even have to bounce the ball on the ground anymore? Is the question.
That's made up. We know from video games that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We are here today to do our second volume of KwikHitz. The first one was last week, and when I typed out, because I think, Biran, you gave me the idea to spell it different, to be cool.
Yeah.
And when I started typing it out, I thought of a word that I haven't heard in years. And I honestly don't remember if it's a word we've used together or even pre-Zlurpcast, just Mike and I. I think it predates all of that. Kibitzer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've used
I think it was you guys used it a lot at the bunker, maybe.
Yeah, the kibitzer.
Okay. So it kind of went away. I have not thought of that word in a long time.
Yiddish in origin?
It is Yiddish. Yeah, it's not. Everyone thinks it's K-A. I think it's K-I, like kibitzer, like a kibosh. The person who joins in a conversation at a game table. Generally, they're not part of the game.
Uninvited.
Yeah. Why would you only have one flyer on that army list? That kind
of guard.
Yeah, in guard, nice, all that. Kibitzer. And I remember making a sign I used to bring, and it said, "No kibitzing. If you're not playing at this table, please be quiet." And
was it a sign like you get at a fast casual restaurant with your number on it, so when they bring it out?
In fact, I might have actually stolen it from like a Ruby Tuesdays nearby. Because I'm like,
did you bring a Zeusk too to pay?
That's high level. I can't smuggle that in my pants. That's the difference. It's like, sir, is that a Zeusk in your pants? No, I have a wide boner.
I have a large phone.
It's like, piano phone. It's just a huge phone, and it shits out receipts. So you got that. Anyway, so I thought of that word. I thought about, we talked on, I believe it's the gaming etiquette episode, all the way up there. If I can remember, I probably won't see it again. I keep forgetting. I'm trying to scroll and find it, but I'm not finding it. We talk about how to act. And I can't believe we never thought about that word, kibitzer, that we used to say all the time. Yeah, another kibitzer came in. Oh, this kibitzer. And we can say it in front of people because most people didn't even know what the word was. So it was kind of sweet that we can man, kibitzer's in this game. Like, what's he talking about? Like
it's not the word itself, even if they know what the word, it's not seen as a negative. It's not a negative word necessarily.
Would drive-by fashion pants the farter? Would he even know?
No, he would know.
No. He's too busy worrying about, do I need to check myself downstairs?
Side story, drive-through Fashion Pants drive-through had a very awkward conversation with Todd when I was there.
Did
It
he?
was so awkward that I had to walk away and pretend to look at something else.
Did you give him a drive-by?
No. He might have given Todd one.
Like,
I don't know. But
didn't he like physically lay a fart on our table once?
yes,
He, like,
you could see it.
Like it was there and it just like dropped.
Like, you know how a heat will like shimmer the air?
Right.
It was like that.
Yeah.
Or like it'll look like the Predator.
Mike's thinking that can't physically. I know you saying it can't physically happen, Mike. It's your business.
Oh, I can see it.
I think it did. I think it was like a medicine ball floating and then just dropped. I know it's not possible on paper, but I swear it happened. So anyway, Quick Hits Volume 2. Last week, we each took a game. We had Survive, the boating board game. We had Railroad Inc. We had Shadowrun. We had Viceroy card games. We had a card game. We had a role-playing game. We had a dry erase game. Is that the genre?
Dice game.
Dice game.
Was it what game?
It was a dice game.
Okay, dice game. There we go. I didn't know if dry erase games had their own.
It's an own genre. Yeah.
Like on Board Game Geek, it's their own tag, and then a board game. So we're gonna do that again. It's fun. I like these episodes, and hopefully you do too, because there's no real pressure to delve into it. You know, some of our other episodes, there's people that may or may not like our take on games, rules, or models. Either you don't like the game, we loved it, or vice versa, and we have our rating. A little bit of
looking
pressure.
at you, mantic assholes.
Yeah, I mean, well, some game systems have more fervent supporters than others, so you may take offense to that. This one, that can't happen because we're literally bringing games we like and just a chat, a friendly chat.
I have a game that one of our viewers will not like.
I don't think we're going to get a thumbs down on these. I think if we review these games, we might get. We got thumbs down on Techno Bowl as an example, a board game. We don't get.
Which we gave very good reviews to, did we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably because I said a rule wrong or something. I mean,
I
already said
it was Tony. Tony probably thumbed down it.
Yeah, I bet it was. You know, if you're playing Techno Bowl, you know what you should do? Watch the video of the guy who made the game, play at a Barnes & Noble, and walk you through perfectly of that game. Like, perfect level walkthrough. This is not that. We are not smart men. We are just men, barely. At this point, barely.
And,
you know,
and chemically, maybe not.
I'm not even asking to check our T levels, as the commercials say.
Yeah, it would be a trace. I believe the level is trace testosterone.
Well, I still have my hair, so yeah, it's got to be low.
Oh man, that is a symptom of high T is hair loss.
Oh, because
exactly.
we're like Cro-Magnon man or whatever.
Yeah.
We're more manly because we lost our hair, Mike.
You have a higher testosterone level, yeah.
Wow.
The high correlation. Whereas me, on the other hand, is
Wow.
You got more estrogen.
Yeah.
So that's all you're going to expect out of this one. So stay tuned. You're going to hear 3, maybe 4 games that you might like to check out one day, or maybe you already checked it out. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. What do you got there, Biran? What are you eating?
I have. Let me get it. Hold on.
Looks like a stew of some sort.
It is a cowboy steak shepherd's pie.
Okay. Are
From
differences
a
between
cowboy?
Cowboy soup?
Yep.
That sounds like a sex move. Soup,
Oh,
stew, and chili. They're all kind of the same, but they're all not the same.
This is more of a pot pie, like a steak pot pie but shepherd's pie because it's got mashed potatoes on top of it.
Okay. Right.
So my game is Sentinels of the Multiverse. I think I've showed this to you guys, but I haven't talked about it on the show.
Are your T levels high enough to even lift that box? It seemed like you were.
I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I'm still pretty strong. So
Is that full of cards?
yes.
Okay.
It is a card bait. It is a cooperative card superhero game. Unlicensed, so it's all original creations. Todd from Grognar Games hates this game and hates anyone that likes it.
Does the non-license throw him off? Because there's a lot more possibilities.
No, it's not that. He does not like the quality of the art.
yes. He calls it Kickstarter art.
It is. Wow. It has kind of, I would say, webcomic level art in it. Is how I would describe it. So
it's
these are
like art by people who have enough talent they can say they can draw, but not enough to be professionals.
right.
So that's actually better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
But one could argue that person that drew those got paid for the game, making them a professional in the industry.
Yeah. But like, you know.
I know what you mean. I
have friends of mine that are actual artists, and then I have some talents, but when I draw it, it looks amateurish compared to them. So
yeah, when I draw,
I would say this is hobby grade artists. Maybe not professional grade, but hobby grade.
The way I look at it is, I mean, art is subjective across all levels. So,
but I think like accomplished artists, like if you see their work and you don't like it, they can also draw realism consistently.
Yeah.
And then they bring their own style in. So this game started out, I was introduced to this game by Jose Amata. All of us know him, very good guy. Moved to Florida recently. Very sad about that.
Recently?
Well, God, it has been a while, hasn't it?
I think he moved before I moved.
Yeah. So yeah. He introduced me to this game. It's a cooperative game where each player, and it is not a deck builder game. You are given you pick a hero. Each hero has a deck. So there's no swapping in and out of cards. Much like SRG Super Show, there's no swapping of cards. You have the deck you're given.
Like here. Hashtag.
And you can try to improve, but some choose not to.
Yeah. So I like to stay in my rut. It started out, it's cooperative. So there's a villain that is driven by an AI deck, which says at this turn, you're going to do this and this. So you're facing it's a villain and an environment. So it'd be like the danger room or the harm room type is one, or fake Metropolis or fake Atlantis is your environment. Fake, Mike, what's the prehistoric land in Marvel? Savage Lands. Savage Lands. They have a knockoff of that. All that cosmic stuff.
The typical world environments you're used to, but obviously.
Right, and they add modifiers to some skills, and sometimes it makes the enemy stronger, sometimes it makes you stronger, and that's like basically you have a player phase, and you want to have. This is a game where you want at least 3 to 4 players, okay, and then someone can run the AI deck, and it's just flip this card at this phase for the environment, flip this card at this phase for the villain, and then you go around. Your goal is to take out the villain, and things can happen like civilians get in the way in some environments, like the city environments, things like that. And each villain has a difficulty level. So like some are easier than others as to get you into the game, and then you can min-max. So this is just a small collection of the heroes. This game's been out for a long time, and expansions have ranged from like a full box expansion that would have new mechanics, new heroes, and new enemies. And some would just be literally, and this is how kind of underground this game was for a bit, a Ziploc bag with the cards in it, hanging on a peg at Gaming Go.
So you've got a setup where you decide who you want to play. You just grab that.
Yeah, you grab that deck, shuffle it up, and you're good to go.
That's great. Well, that's kind of how I like doing that for. You mentioned Super Show.
Yeah.
Up there. For Xtreme is here.
Yay!
Yay!
For Underworlds, I have the same thing. We might swap out here and there, but essentially, what you get is what you get because we've already optimized it to a point. So I kind of like that where you can pull that off the shelf, play a game, and not get bogged down in deck building at all.
And I have played probably 4 different superheroes, and I have one that I've played consistently. I can't even find his name right here. He's in one of these. This card carrier is, you don't need this for the game, but
you want this.
Yeah, it's the main reason I bought it, just because it looks so freaking rad.
Doesn't that sum up everything though?
Yeah.
You don't need 99% of it, but you want, like, you can get by.
I've thoroughly enjoyed the 3.5 hours it took to fill this thing.
Do you have everything, or are there more?
No, but the thing is, this box came with a checklist.
Oh, cool.
So I actually went through and I know which ones I still need, even though I don't plan on playing it that often, or even, hey, I really want to try these guys. I just want the whole thing, and the whole thing will fit in here. You
think it's going to be the whole thing?
Right. Well, I don't think they've released much of late.
Is this company done or no?
I will check when someone else is going on to see if it's still available widely. When we were going to the Gaming Go prior to Grognard Games, it was still being, new releases were coming out because I bought a couple there.
a lot of people that play games like these are completists by nature, but
Yes.
you also want ongoing support.
Yeah.
Those things are opposites.
And like most things, I found the initial release of heroes and villains was the best balanced and most fun.
Yeah.
As always, right?
Yeah.
Like part of you wants it to be over to make sure you get everything.
Right.
Right.
Right. But at this point, if I just got everything from, if they were to re-release it, I would be okay and release more stuff. I'd be okay if I had everything from the first run.
Okay.
Just, I love this box so much. I'm in love with the box more than the game.
Is this not good for 2 players then?
No, unless you're playing multiple heroes.
Okay.
There is a way though, because they released, and I found this out by mistake. They released one, and I'm looking at the villains they released. Like, these don't seem that, because a lot seem almost insurmountable till the game goes on and you realize how many synergies you've built up and can beat them. But it turns out, I'm like, wow, that was really easy for us to win. And it turns out it was supposed to be a Legion of Doom. You were supposed to then spawn the next guy and the next guy and the next guy.
Oh.
So I'm like, so I think one of those,
person.
you could do that with 2 players with one of the smaller grade villains, so you can, but not by design. I think you need at least 4.
A game that if you have 4 heroes, that's probably the optimal, right?
Yeah, that's what I found. But you could have more.
4 people playing 4 heroes. Is this one of those where someone takes on a leader role and tells everyone, because like, oh, I know how to beat this guy. You got to do boom, 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 and then.
I think just if you let people pick, like, if I were to take a new person, I'm like, here's the archetypes there are. There's the technology guy, the magic guy, the whatever, and there's lots of variants between those. I would say, oh, are you interested in magic guy? Well, here's 12 magic guys. Which one do you like the look of? Chances are they're going to pick someone. I have no idea how they play because there's so goddamn many.
Okay.
So and the cards are really self-explanatory. Like, hey, deal 20 psionic damage to the enemy.
So because there's so many characters, you probably won't. It won't suffer from the. This feels
the pandemic symptom. You need to go here. You need to go here. Yeah.
It's not going to get that because there's a lot of combinations.
Yep.
And is this a game that normies could play?
Yes.
Okay.
My wife's not into board games as much. Definitely more not into the crazy level, like 50,000 component ones. She likes this game.
Okay.
We played with Jose and his wife, and me and my wife played, and we had a great time. And that's why I said, all right, I'm going to spend way too much money on this crap. And it's not a very expensive game, but when you get this much of it, it is.
And you get the box.
Yeah. Sold separately, like batteries.
Xtreme, by the way, welcome. How was Ohio?
Exactly how I expected it to be.
Okay. Is it a better place? Did you leave it a better place than you found it?
No, because he left, it got worse. It was worse before he got there. It slightly got better when he was there. And then when he left, it went back to being worse.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
It was enjoyable.
Did you play some Kings of War with the crew there?
I did not, no.
You didn't have time to get a game in?
No.
Well, glad you could join us. We're still on our first game, so you didn't miss anything.
So yeah, Sentinels of the Multiverse. I'll double check if it's still available. Really, if you just want to try it, I would just get one of the starters. That's all you really need, and go from there.
I love that they were able to call it that because it automatically tells you it's superhero games.
Yeah,
but it's not stepping on any kind of.
No, it doesn't. I give them credit for not making like this is Steel Man and he looks suspiciously like Iron Man. They have a guy called Bunker that looks more like if you've read the Iron Man, the first Armor Wars.
Yeah.
Where they sent the guy with Ironmonger from the MCU kind of was modeled after him. He looks more like that, but the style is completely different. So I like they didn't try to just rip off IP and imitate it.
Yeah, I guess the idea would be if you're going to do a parody, go 1 degree further.
Yeah.
Go maybe mix 2 superheroes together.
Right.
Or, enough where it doesn't feel lazy.
Kind of like what Marvel does now with its own IP.
Well, yeah.
Venomized Iron Man. We've run out of ideas and we're intellectually bankrupt.
You're going to buy the figures anyway. So
yes, I am. Oh, I know it. I'm a capitalist whore.
You guys, Valdric, Xtreme, any questions about this game? Want to talk about it?
I I've been interested in it. They actually have an app for the.
They do.
Yeah, and I have the app, and I tried to play it once, and I kind of wasn't in the mood to learn something. You know what I mean? It wasn't as simple as, and so I was like, I'm gonna come back to this, and I forgot to ever go back to it.
And the app, obviously, it's more fun when you're playing with people, but the app is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
A teacher not in the mood to learn.
Well, you know, sometimes you sit down and you're just like, I don't want to think. I just want to play.
I hope your students take note of this episode.
And then I forgot all of. I think it's actually on my iPad, which is trash, so I gotta re-get it.
But now, that seems like a cool game. I think, Biran, do people play that? Like, would there be people at Gen Con playing that now, or did it?
I could see it at Gen Con, yes. Not at Adepticon, but at Gen Con, everything's happening there. But
that's true. So, but I mean, is it like that cult following?
I think it does, just because so much came out for it. I bet there's a community for it. Okay. I don't want to engage with it because I don't like communities anyway.
Right off the bat, if they see this episode and see your box, they're like, "There's our new GM." It's like, whoa.
Hey, are you going to run anything at Grognard's for us? No.
Yeah. If you were like having a game night, I would definitely play that. So
yeah.
Yes. The superhero theme alone will.
And people that, if you ever played, there was a MMO for the PC, City of Heroes, I think it's called. The art style is similar to that.
Yeah.
I would say. But as Todd says, the art is garbage, and you are too for playing it. I only play it to make Todd mad.
Which is half the reason you play most games.
Yeah.
Well, and I would think at this point, Todd being more business owner, Grognard Games, Roselle, Illinois, he's more business owner than gamer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say that.
So looking at it from that perspective, a card game that won't make me any money, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
I mean, it's obscure enough where I doubt he would ever carry it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's something that people can get because, like I said, Gaming Goat had it.
Yeah. Were people playing it there, or just buy stuff there?
Just buy stuff.
Okay.
I think the only people I know who bought stuff at Gaming Goat for were me and Jose.
Yeah. I remember seeing it around. I just never really bothered to try it. I would though. It seems cool.
I have a vinyl, and it's vinyl, sadly, playmat for it too.
Vinyl?
Yeah. Huh. It's better than paper, but not as good as mousepad.
No.
I mean, so is a tarp as well.
But it to be fair, it is a big mat, so on a mousepad it'd be pretty expensive. But hey, I spent what, $70 on a box.
Yeah. And that's just the box.
Yeah. It's a good box though.
Yeah, but it's just a box.
That's what they said about Dungeon Saga, and we like that.
You're saying the review could just be, it's just a box?
Yeah, but it's a good box.
And that is kind of funny. Like, I'd love to do an episode where we go through like 100 games and give it like 1-sentence reviews.
It's a good
like, Dungeon Saga, it's a box.
Railroad Inc., it's a neat box.
Right. Box. Railroad Inc., there's dice, comma, I think. Like,
dry erase question mark?
Yeah. Like one sentence reviews would be a fun little thing to do sometime.
Oh, call back to Railroad Inc. I got my notification on Kickstarter of the Kickstarter shipping now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I looked that up. There's a lot of different variants of that.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out on our first Quick Hits episode. Biran, if you were to give it a Zlurpee rating, I'm not even asking, but if you were, what would that be?
4. For what again, it's about what is it trying to do and how does it accomplish it? A 4.
Okay.
Like, and the thing is, there's like that Marvel game is super popular. Well, popular-ish. What's it called? What's the Marvel card game that? Crap! I even bought it.
It just came out.
But probably the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Mine, which is trapped in the era when Nirvana was still a band.
Overpower.
Yes. This is Legendary, right?
Oh
no.
yeah.
No, Legendary's the old one.
Legendary's the old one. There's a new one that came out
Marvel Champions. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it came out at the same time as the kind of figure game came out.
Yeah, and
Not
it's
Crisis,
Crisis.
No,
yes.
not Crisis, but there's
the Night Models one.
No, the Cool Mini or Not Marvel game.
Okay. Yeah, it's and that's fairly popular. I bought it because Grognar Games in Ross, Illinois had it for 40% off, and I haven't even looked at it yet. But that, if you want a like higher art, like it's good quality Marvel comic art, not like how 80% of Marvel comic art is kind of shitty now. It's like the good art level, and the art on the cards is amazing. I haven't played it yet, but I hear it seems like it's way more complex than Sentinels of the Multiverse. But
when it comes to art on cards, how long do you stare at that for, though?
That's true. It's like, even when I read comic books, when I'm reading them and not paying attention, I realize I didn't look at any of the art. I was just reading the text.
I mean, well, when you're reading a comic, you got that, part of the story to see what's going on. But on a game, I find the only time I really critically look at art is when I'm in a review mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm playing it, I don't give a shit. It could be stick figure. I mean, I don't want it to be stick figures, but
unless that's the aesthetic they're going for.
Right. Unless that's the game. Let's Kill. Great game that does that. But I mean, people talk about art. Like, I see it in Kickstarter all the time. Like, man, this art sucks. Oh, it's like, dude, like, you're playing a game.
Well, and also art is something you have to pay for. The quality goes up, so does the price.
Go away. I just think that, like video games is different because you're always immersed in the graphics of the game. But I don't know, for me in a game, like, what does that card do? Great, he looks awesome. But I'm only going to say that one time.
Yeah, the art sells you the game. The playing of it doesn't matter.
Right.
Sentinels of the Multiverse is looks like 2nd edition, so it is a newer edition. It is readily available on Amazon. $40 for the starter box, and that'll be plenty to play for most people.
And you really hope they don't come out with a 3rd edition, right?
Yeah. Or a 3rd edition giant $70 box.
Yes.
Just buy the box and put your old cards in it.
Yep.
It's on the shelf.
Well, I was torn. I was going to use this giant box as my game, or I was going to use Kingdom Death giant box as my game.
Do you ever have a box so nice where you're afraid to maybe take it with you all the time?
Kingdom Death is close. That is a thick box.
Like, if you you're not bringing that to Grognar, but let's say you did, and it became a weekly Kingdom Death night.
I would tell, hey, don't put your backpack on top of my box.
Yeah, my box is too good to bring to the store every week. It's a weird thing, but gamers are weird people. So, all right, Valdric, would you like to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
My game it's a simple 2-player game called Jaipur. Box, first of all, excellent box. All right. It's a very simple game. The benefit to me is it's a 2-player game. It is designed to be 2 players, no more. Okay. It's also 30 minutes or less. So it's a good, easy to play, but it has some complexity, 2-player game.
I bet you and I could play it in 15.
Yeah.
Biran, you're always like the Pawn Stars guy. Like, best I can do is 8 minutes.
I don't know if you can see this, but like, here is the board setup. Okay, so it's a trading game. So what you're doing is there's 6 different items. There's diamonds. I'm going from most valuable, least valuable. Diamonds, gold, silver, and then I just know them by the colors. It's spice, cloth, and leather. And what you have in the middle is this is the 5 cards right here. That's the trade area, what's available. And there's cards, 1 for each of those 6 items. And then there's a 7th card type called the camel. And your goal is to get the most amount of points at the end of the game. Each item is worth a certain amount of points. Diamonds are worth the most, then gold and silver, then all the way down to leather. You can get these points you have a handful of cards and you trade in. So if you have 3 leather cards, you can turn that in and trade that and get the 3 leather tokens. So you want the bigger if you trade in and get like 2 leathers, you get whatever the point value is. If you trade in 3 cards, 4 cards, or 5 cards, you get a bonus. So it's in some ways it's better to, if you have like a certain amount of like 3 leathers, you may want to hold on to it because you'll get a bonus if you can trade in a 4th leather. However, you are, by holding on to it, you're giving your opponent a chance to cash in and maybe get those items, and there may not be enough left for you to get them. So it's kind of, you're kind of pushing your luck a little bit too. So each round you can do one of 4 things. Let's see if I remember. You can either take one of the cards from the pile. So if you see a gold, and gold's worth a lot, so you may want to just grab that. You can turn in cards from your hand, but only of one type. So you can only turn in gold or only turn in diamonds. You can't trade it, turn in 2 golds and a diamond or something like that. You can do what's called basically take all the camel cards. So if you take the camel cards go into what's called your herd, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most camel cards gets a bonus. So
it's like real life.
Yeah, exactly. But like if you take, there's 3 of the 5 cards up front are camel cards. Take those away, then what's in the market replenishes. So they're going to put 3 more cards out there that your opponent has access to. So sometimes taking the camels can be good. Sometimes it can be bad because it gives your opponent a crack at what's at the market. And the 4th thing is you can, if you have cards in your hand, like shitty cards, like 2 leathers or your camel cards, you can turn those in and gain multiple cards from the market. So if there's like 2 gold and a silver up there, and you really want those, you can turn in 3 camel. You can trade in like 3 camel cards for the 3 cards from the market. So you got to kind of really balance what you're trading in versus what your opponent is trading in.
Does it kind of reward more aggressive play?
Yeah,
and holding out for 4 leather instead of cashing in the 3.
Sometimes it pays off, because if you if you turn in 3 cards, you get a bonus, which is either worth 1, 2, or 3 points. If you turn in 4 cards, it's a bonus is your 4, 5, or 6 points. So holding out for that 4th card,
much higher reward.
It's much higher reward, but there's a higher risk as well. So and again, you have to pay attention to what your opponent's going for as well, because you see them like grabbing leathers, you're like, oh, maybe I should grab one of those to try to block my opponent, but that can also bite you in the butt.
Is there any, like, if you're noticing like kind of bluffing to a point of what you're going for?
Possibly, yeah. Or they're just trying to, but I mean, that's also kind of a waste of a turn. So you focus more on what you got to do more. Yeah. And again, there's always the strategy. Oh, I want to go for the diamonds, of course, because those are worth the most. Because usually you're not going to let that go. But
go for a boardwalk and Park Place, but don't neglect Baltic.
Yeah, exactly. Again, going for the lower ones, your opponent may be more likely to ignore those, so you can get
multiples and multiples.
I'm going after the greens in Monopoly. I'm skipping. I want the second best. Nobody wants
utilities are a con. Never do it.
Never do utilities.
Railroads are not worth it either.
The whole game is a con.
Yeah.
There's another element. There's another element to the game that has rewards people playing a little more aggressively, and that the diamonds and stuff, like the value counts down.
Yes.
So the first person they cash in gets a higher amount. So if you're waiting to collect your big combo, and someone just throws down 2, they're going to get the 2 high ones for that column.
Yeah. So for example, the first leather token is worth 5. The second one's worth 4. Then 3, 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So
you do want to try to amass the most early on and not wait.
Yeah. So because you can get for leather, it was like who's going for leather first? Well, those first couple of cards, you can get a decent amount of points that way. So
the way that we've kind of started playing strategically is the 3 big ones, the jewels.
Yeah.
We'll get those as quickly as we can, and then we'll build up the cheaper ones with our big combos to get the combo bonuses.
Yeah.
When you get the combo, when you lay it down, you go combo.
I think
Well, what you were saying before, though, if I saw Xtreme like picking up leathers, and I've got like 2 leathers in my hand, I'm gonna say, screw it. I'm gonna turn those in to get the high point ones.
Just to
Even though
screw
he'll
them
get the
over
bonus,
and cash out when you know you're
Yeah.
not gonna.
You find yourself like in the game, like pivoting. So it's kind of a, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I got to switch over and start doing this.
Yeah, and you also, because the game will end when there's a fixed amount of. First of all, you can only have 7 cards in your hand. So when you get 7 cards, you have to turn something in. Also, the game ends when either the last card from the market is played, or from the market deck is flipped up, or when 3 of the 6 items are gone, like all the tokens for that item. So sometimes you're like, oh, there's only 2 of the items are gone, and there's only 1 cloth left, for example. I could turn my cloth in right now and end the game, which might be good if I have enough points. It might not if you know, but my opponent can always do that. So you got to kind of like, when is he going to end this, or when is this going to end? So
Kind of
there's some more strategies to it that I first thought when I first started playing this.
It reminds me of the game 31, the simple card game 31, where you knock when you think you've won.
Yes.
And they get 1 more turn. It reminds me of that mechanic.
I remember that, yeah.
One more time.
Yep.
Right?
One of the other cool things that we found too is that, like, if you have a turn where there's nothing super attractive for you to do, if you could just load the marketplace with camels and force the other person to take the camels on their turn and give you a fresh marketplace, then now you're gonna have something cool to do on your next turn.
Yeah.
And it pisses off the person you're playing, sure, but they get camels.
And you get a shirt print up that says "Xtreme fucked me with camels."
Xtreme is a camel guy. I think if you were a smoker, you'd be a camel guy.
Remember that thing where people said
Camel
more kids recognize Joe Camel than Mickey Mouse? That's bullshit, right?
And then, well, there's that, and then also he's a penis head, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That part of it, is that because they put penises in Disney?
Yeah, like the Little Mermaid VHS box had a penis on it.
Yeah. I mean, well, yours.
Well, I drew it myself.
But if we're talking about art, it's decent art, you know.
It's I would call it painterly.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, who cares what your diamonds look like? They're color coded, which is nice.
Does Brian have a disadvantage?
No.
But they have a distinct texture, so you could tell.
Yeah, is it Braille cards?
The tokens have there's a nice thickness to them, so they're decent quality cardboard tokens. So, and again, like I said, it plays in 30 minutes or less.
Did you get the deluxe edition that came with the metal coin?
What?
Yeah, again, Xtreme.
Did you get the deluxe edition that came with a metal coin?
Yes, I did.
What the hell is the metal coin for?
I have no idea.
To lord it over people that don't have it?
No, it's like a challenge. It's a challenge coin at Gen Con.
I still have the Brian one somewhere.
Like
yeah, I played Xtreme.
I played Xtreme, and for some reason he gave me this.
Yeah.
It was called herpes.
I would say that Xtreme, that coin is probably, in a weird way, your biggest impact in the world.
Ouch.
Not your children.
No,
through your children, yes.
I mean, across the board. Like, there's people across the globe that have that coin, is what I meant. No disrespect to the quality over quantity. I mean, across the globe.
Worldwide impact.
Yeah.
You don't think the name Zlurpee out? I mean, that's what this
But
podcast
the coin is the physical embodiment of Zlurpee, the Zlurpee feeling.
It is the shibboleth of Zlurpee.
What's that word?
Shibboleth.
Half the people that have those coins too, sometime soon are going to find them randomly in a box and be like, who the hell is this guy? Like, what is this?
How do I get this?
Like, the balls on a guy to think I care enough to accept a coin with his name on it, with his fake name. Like some.
Oh, JP freeze for everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Still here.
You're back.
Okay. All right, we're back. Supposed to have good internet. Maybe not. Oh, it said unstable. It says internet's unstable. Am I okay right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I've never had that before. A lot of porn at this hour on this street. Live on. Mike, on this game, I know you said it's a great 2-player game. It's quick. It sounds like it's an easy go-to game. I know you probably play with Katie. Is this something you could bust out with a rando?
Yeah, I think so. Because again, you could give them a demo hand to show them how the mechanic. Because there's only 4 things you can do.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot. I don't want to say it's a simple game, but there's not a lot of. You don't have a lot of choices, but what choice you make can make a difference.
Minutes to learn, lifetime to master.
Yeah.
When you show somebody a game, in my opinion, the hardest part is the what can I do phase.
Yeah.
Of the training, because that's what it comes down to. They can observe all day long, but it's when it's my turn, what can I do? And if that thing is 10 things, that list is 10 things long, it's a bit cumbersome and hard to get somebody into the game. This seems like it's got a finite amount of things you can do, but obviously throughout the game, the strategy and kind of being coy with the person you're playing with comes into play.
Yeah, and the turns go quick, so it's not like when it's not your turn, you got.
Well, and only 2 players helps too. You don't have to go, oh God.
Yeah.
Let me know when it's my turn. Well, Blood Bowl is 2 players, and it's also, Xtreme's favorite party game. Let me know when it's my turn.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're done killing elves.
Yeah, but Blood Bowl's a terrible game. This sounds fun.
Ooh. Quick side note: do we know, is Blood Bowl the lowest rated game? Did we just officially see that in the cumulative rankings, or no? It's either Blood Bowl or 40K, maybe.
It's a lowest.
Is Blood Bowl the lowest?
Isn't it Necromunda?
Oh yeah.
Did Necromunda to overtake?
Yeah, because I think you're right.
We would brag about our highest ranked games, but we never gave our like a celebration of sorts to our lowest, our new lowest. So Necromunda,
I think by our YouTube comments that Mantic games would be our lowest, but they're not.
Yeah. We get more views from Mantic games though, because you got to remember, when we talk about Games Workshop games, we are lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Like, we're not coming up on the sidebar. It's not going to happen. Mantic, different story. So be ready, Armada people. Be ready. I don't know what's going to happen. Mike, on this game, anything else you want to cover?
No, like I said, it's a simple game. It's readily available. I got this at Grognard Games.
That looks like a $3 game.
Yeah, it's about a $30 game. There is an app on your phone, and the app is kind of cool as well. It's the game. It's not an app to like play because it gives you different variants. You have the standard game, but there's also what's called a campaign that has different, like, you can only trade for the bottom 3 things, or you have to.
The app is not a game. The app is a complement to this game.
No, it's a game.
It is a separate standalone game, but you have different versions that you can't do with this game because you need more components.
Okay.
So it'll say like you need you have to in this land. It's called a campaign because there's this map, and every time you go to a different country, there's different trading rules. So like there's no gold or silver, and you need to have a minimum of 3 cards to turn in, or point values are doubled in for.
So it's basically modifiers to the existing.
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It's the same mechanic, but it's slightly different strategies. And
Did you play online against somebody or no?
You can either play it online, you can play it like what's called pass, where it's on your phone, and I do my turn, and then I pass it to you, and you do your turn, or you can just play it against the computer.
Oh, that's cool.
I like playing it because again, you can get the game done in 15 minutes with yourself on the train when I was riding it on the train, and it was again, it passed the time. So
it's better to do that on the train than upskirt picks. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
There's an app for that too. What, Xtreme?
There is a sequel to the game too, isn't there?
Yeah, Jaipur. What's it called?
Does it have more modern things like you could trade
No.
rare earth metals?
I think it's in a different like region, and
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't have the other.
Horses instead of
I don't
camels?
either.
Do they have like a Chicagoland variant?
Blue Melotti's Pizza.
Yeah, trading hot dogs and shit.
Bottom one is
Like
potholes.
reskin Monopoly games that are always garbage.
Right. Oh, you landed on Portillo's.
Eat a hot dog and pass go.
What would be your ranking, Mike, if you were to give it a Zlurpee?
I would give it a 4.
Okay.
It's got, like I said, it's not, because it plays so quickly. It's like you're going to play a couple of games and they go on. Or it's like the game that you play while you're waiting for someone else to show up, you know.
This is a side game?
It's a side game for sure.
Do you think there's somebody in the world who says this is their main game, though?
No.
They go all in?
No.
The world is a big place, guys.
True it is.
Okay.
I mean,
Like some third world country where that's the most complex game they can afford?
Like, we can't afford to give you actual leathers, but we'll give you a card game
right
where you can trade amongst each other.
You know, I could see like a couple that found one game they like and they just stopped with it. Maybe it's their main game. I know, like, my parents played backgammon against each other for years. That was their main game. That's kind of weird to me, but I could see like a couple getting this game and that being their main
Did they paint the pieces different colors to add a hobby element?
No.
And more importantly, can you play it on the go, like Blood Bowl to go, using backgammon pieces?
I've seen travel versions of backgammon with.
Oh no, it's Othello they use, right? Is that?
Yeah.
What's the Blood Bowl on a train? Okay, very good. Xtreme, are you prepared to go?
I'm prepared.
Okay, I'm gonna put some lights on.
I have a interesting selection. So
Is it not safe for work?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I played it with my daughter, so it's okay.
I don't.
So we wanted to have a game night recently because my daughter has been doing school from home since everything happened, so she never leaves the house, and we try to include her in more things so she's not staring at a screen all the time.
You don't just leave her locked in the basement?
No, not anymore.
That's what our parents would have done.
Yes,
you've got a TV and you've got an Atari 2600. You are set.
You're gonna play combat and nothing but combat.
Yeah.
Or you can say, you know what, you're gonna watch what Dad wants to watch. We're watching Clerks for the 800th time. Don't repeat this language.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to Target and bought a good old game at Target. So we got it down to like 2 options, and she chose the option I didn't want, of course. But I went with it and I did everything I could. And like I've mentioned before, the big part of first game, Villainous.
Oh yeah, I think I heard you. Yeah, I see that a lot at Barnes and Noble.
So I know they have a Marvel licensed version, and they have the Disney version and expansions for the Disney version. I don't know if they have expansions for the Marvel. So as I mentioned before, like whenever there's a game, I'm always the one that has to learn how to play the game, teach everyone how to play the game. This gets huge negative points in that area because every character is playing with different rules. So you're all playing your own individual game and you have very little interaction between each other, but every character is playing their own rules with their own agenda to get to the finish. So when I teach someone the game, I have to teach the game to the group, and then I have to go around to each individual person and teach them their version of the game and tell everyone else not to listen while I teach that person their version of the game because it's not going to apply, it's going to confuse you.
Don't you just use the vampire LARP method of, I'm not how I appear, and then they can't listen?
No, and like each character has their own deck too, so it's like it's designed to play differently, achieving their own individual goal. So the first 3 games I played, I thought I was going to throw the game in the trash. I was just done with it. Like I absolutely hated it. I played Jafar, and so his winning sequence, you have to reveal the scarab to go to the Cave of Wonders, and then in the Cave of Wonders, you have to get the lamp, and then you have to move the lamp to a different location, release the genie, and take over the genie. So the first thing you have to do is get the scarab card. Well, the first game I played, it was the last card in my deck.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't even begin playing while everyone else was having a good time and winning. The second game went pretty similar. I just didn't feel like I ever got started. Other people were playing. I could see how easily someone else was going to win. The Quinn part seems very easy. But we played it
Queen of Hearts is
After-
OP. Is that your official stance?
Yes.
Okay.
Alex came home and wanted to play it, so we gave it another try, played a few more games, and he took Jafar. I kind of like pushed it on him. I'm like, there you go. You're going to play Jafar.
He's good. He's really good.
But his shuffle was completely different, and he revealed these other cards that where you could actually search through your deck and pull things out. So I was like, oh, now I see where, like, as long as you don't get a shitty shuffle like I did, he can actually do things. And I played Captain Hook, and it was kind of interesting the way his deck worked with it. So I started to come around a little bit with the game, but I still don't feel great about it because everyone's playing their own individual game. The only interaction you have with other players, you have a fate mechanic occasionally that comes up. I don't think it comes up often enough. And when that happens, you can reveal heroes on other people's cards that kind of slow them down and they have to deal with them. But I don't think
So it's
we have
almost
enough
like
of
just a
that.
time race. Whoever can finish theirs first.
Yeah. So the big thing, like when because I think like my wife plays the same way with games that I do, where if we have that game, we get very focused on what we need to do and we get stuck in our little thing. And then we look up and Alex won because he was, paying attention to everybody, screwing everybody over, doing all this stuff. And I was just
Classic
so
polo
focused
move right there.
Yeah, I was so focused on what I wanted to do. I wasn't paying attention to the fact that everyone else is a mile ahead of me.
Did you make him sleep outside after he won?
No, I don't even know.
Does
he
it
actually
feel like
did.
there's not enough interaction with each other then?
Yeah, that is missing a lot of that. I mean, there is some, but it's just not enough. And some of the villains don't even care when you put like heroes on their stuff, because basically you have like 4 lands that belong to you, and you have 4 actions on them. And when you put a hero down, it covers up 2 actions. So now they can only do 2 things if they go there. But some of the villains don't even care. So you like put heroes down and like, okay. And then some of the villains need you to put heroes down. Like Captain Hook needs Peter Pan to be out because that's his goal, is to move Peter Pan and then defeat him. So it's weird.
Do you think some people prefer this style though, where it's there because there is an interaction? It lets them almost like people that may prefer a lot of one-player games.
Maybe, but the thing that, I mean, if you played past like the winning scenario, so that way everyone got to get to their finish point, maybe that would be fun. But it's frustrating for me when I'm playing my little adventure and then someone else wins. I'm like, well, shit, I was finally doing good. I thought I was going to get somewhere. Now the game's over.
I think the best indicator is without the license, the theme, would it be a good game at all? Would there be any interest in it?
Yeah. No.
Well, and
I really
go ahead. Sorry.
I really wonder the people that buy it, because it's in the big box stores and it has the Disney license to it. I just can't imagine like normie family taking it home and having any fun with this game. I just see them opening up the rule book and be like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't understand. There's many rule book. Everyone has their own rule book, and then there's one big rule book.
Like it's too complicated for mass market.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to get at, was if this is at the level of skinned for all the different IPs, wouldn't it be a little, I don't know, more fun, more just clean, more just, you know what I mean? Where it's to the point of, because I'm guessing if there's the Marvel version, it's the same thing. Some characters need other ones to pop up. You're trying to do your mission, I'm trying to do mine. And it seems just like, kind of like how you have Monopoly reskins, but a lot of people don't even like the game to begin with, but you keep buying the reskins. This seems like that.
Yeah, I mean, it very easily could be reskinned to almost anything. I just
like the marketing of it being mass market like that, it reminds me of Oprah's Book of the Month Club. So Oprah as a book of the month, and it's usually something very light and fluffy. But once she picked a Toni Morrison book that I actually did my senior thesis on, and I'm like, these housewives don't know what the fuck's going on in this book. I barely could understand it, and it was my major. When they like, I think it'll sell well, but word of mouth is probably going to be bad on it. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to sell, and
looks great. The box looks great.
It's going to sell because of the package.
Yeah,
you walk by that, and you're gonna like. She picked it out based on probably the idea of it more than anything else.
Well, in Disney Villains, we went to Disney in 2019, and villains are so popular that they have Villain Night, where it's just all the characters. It's after hours are the villains, and that's more popular than their standard stuff. Like villains.
Did
are
you
super
know that a
popular.
villain is just the other side's hero?
That's right. It's the villain is the one that lost, so didn't get to write the history book.
There you go.
Hashtag Maleficent was right.
So Xtreme, this is a game that what was the other game she was deciding on between two?
The Funko Pop game. She had like the Harry Potter starter version, and I've heard good things about the Funko Pop game.
Didn't
so
Scott Prime play that and like it? At least one of those.
I'm not sure. I've heard good things about them,
Yeah,
but I've never.
I like it's better than it has any business being, perhaps.
It seems like a throwaway. Like I want the Golden Girls on my desk, and here's a map they can go on too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but it's kind of funny because both are, easily chosen based on a license, but both could also be very disappointing too.
Did your daughter like it?
She won the first game. She was playing the Queen of Hearts. And then the second game, I think she's doing pretty well. But I think after the second game, she's kind of like, yeah, I'm done.
Lost interest.
Yeah. And she did play the second time that we started playing, but I think it was more like she was on the same board, same path that I was on, where she just wanted to see Alex suffer with Jafar, and then he didn't. So it was disappointing.
little misery, and that seems fun.
Oh, Polo.
Yeah.
So, what's is it a good box?
It's a pretty nice box.
Well,
I mean, it catches you.
Ooh, a little, yeah. How are the components?
Nice thickness. The component. I mean, most of his standard Disney arcs is mostly just cards and cardboard. But then every character has a token, and like this one's pretty obvious.
Maleficent.
But some of them are
not painted though.
Huh?
Yeah, start painting. What are you doing?
No. If I didn't tell you what character this is, there's no way you're gonna tell me who this is.
Is that a crown? I can't even see.
It's an urn, isn't it? So is it Zeus or Hades?
Prince John.
What? Oh, from Robin Hood?
Yeah.
No idea. Yeah.
They're going to. Is there a song on the South guy?
No, there isn't.
That's a butt plug.
No, that's what's her face from Little Mermaid, Ursula.
Yeah.
Ursula. Yeah. So
she's the Cthulhu villain.
Cool. But some of them, I mean, you have to really. I don't even remember who this is. Oh, I think that this is Captain Hook.
What? Why wouldn't it just be a hook?
A feather?
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's a little abstract sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
Why wouldn't they just do shitty miniatures?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying to get too cute. And you get like this little bowl that you don't need to like pull your tokens out of. It could have been a bag or whatever, but they made a little plastic volcano.
Is this going to end up on the shelf or in a garage sale?
On the shelf until it's sat there long enough, hopefully, to be in a garage sale.
Okay. Fair enough.
I do like it a little bit more than I initially did after we played the second time, and I started to see like the decks actually do individual things, and it's kind of neat. I had a lot more fun playing Captain Hook than Jafar, but I think I just had bad shuffles with Jafar in hindsight. But that's another negative on it too, that if you have a bad shuffle, then
game over.
Game is
yeah.
Is the Marvel one also villains or no?
I have no idea. I just know I've seen.
I think it's not. I think it's just regular guys. Because I saw the box and it looked.
I thought it was like a villain like in each.
Well, I think they did villains because they're hot right now with Disney.
Oh, just for Disney though.
Yeah.
But isn't it Villainous?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah, it is.
Maybe it is then.
Well, you get Doom and Magneto, and
I see that being a nice allure to buy the game, because how many games are focused on the bad guys anyway? Xtreme, how many Zlurpees would you give this?
Oh, the tokens are way better for the Marvel one. You can tell who they are by the token.
It's really tough. Right now, I would give it a 1.5. With, playing it again, it may go up, it may go down. But I'm not super crazy. Like, if someone picked it out, if they were excited about it, I'd play it again, but it's nothing I'm going to choose.
I mean, it's a family game. Your daughter picked it out. That's why it got played.
Now, if it was good and you picked up the Villainous, would you think of using Crisis Protocol miniatures instead of the little statues? I think that'd make it a lot more fun.
The other thing too is like your miniature, it could be anything. Like, it doesn't really do anything in the game. It just marks which are the.
It's a game piece.
Yeah, but it's so limited. You have 4 spots that you can move between. You just can't be in the same spot 2 turns in a row. And some of them have a lock.
It could be a cardboard token. Cardboard token would be fine for it.
Yeah.
It could really be anything. You could just say, I'm in this land, and then if something to remember that I'm there next turn, so I don't sit there again. I mean,
I don't think it's very popular, judging by the price reduction I'm seeing on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
$16.
Makes sense.
$16 for that much. Where, like you said, they made clear translucent plastic things and a bowl to put your shit in. Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah.
I think the target audience for it, I don't see any.
No pun intended.
I don't see them making it through a game, even. You
see them looking at the instructions and going, "Fuck this."
Yeah, like, I could go and buy apples to apples, or I could buy this game, but from Disney. Okay, I'm going to take it home. Like, what the hell? No way! It's nuts.
I think I would like one day to do an episode talking about licenses and games in general, because there's very much a walk by sexiness to anything that you recognize, but a lot of people don't bother to check. I mean, especially, well, obviously, kids, but even, adults, what are you going to do? Watch a game review in the store? Like, if you walk by it and it looks cool, you're going to buy it.
I think it's more effective for games like this that are one and done. My problem with games like Marvel Crisis Protocol, what happens when they lose a license? Or they don't want to, or it's not making enough money for them to keep renewing it. It can look what happened to the great and mighty Mars Attacks license.
The new update of Dreadball will not have Martians, I was informed.
Yes.
People were asking, they said,
what a great loss.
They will not be in there. That is in the Magnetar to Magnet. Or as Mike says, Magneto. I
Magnet, Magneto.
Magneto.
How many people in the world have a fully painted Mars Attacks Dreadball team?
With helmets intact too? Like, you have them all?
With extra helmets, just in case.
Like, they have a helmet on top of the helmet?
No, it's just off to the side in case one pops off.
Yeah, you said just in case. But what about just in case nobody gives a fuck?
Yeah.
That's a just in case too, right?
Do you still have your Z's team with the banana plaque they sit on?
Yeah, it's for sale if anybody wants it.
How much?
800.
I don't know.
150.
How much in euros? And
Like
also how many shekels?
Are you willing to ship to Canada and or Europe?
Biran wants to pay for you to send it to Canada. Have a guy up there send it to him then, like a middleman.
Yep.
Just to get stamps on it, like in the cartoon, with the show where it's been. All right, so this game, I'm actually glad you showed this one off today, because I thought this series of quick hits was going to be about games we really like, and it's okay. I think it's okay to do this because, yeah, why not? I mean, it still deserves this level of coverage, not a whole episode of coverage. And,
well, and if even one person watches this and they're at Barnes and Noble, like, I'm not getting that game. Xtreme says it's shit.
Yeah, public service announcement goes a long way. I mean, you could have just changed somebody's life for the better just now.
But you could have saved someone's life.
Say that again?
He also says most games are shit. So what is his opinion really about?
Right. What does he care? And then Biran said, well, the Marvel one looks cooler. So then it's kind of almost a...
The pieces look cooler. I don't know if the game looks identical from the picture I'm seeing. But at least the pieces, you're like, Oh, that's Taskmaster. That's Killmonger. Yeah.
I thought this would be an interesting conversation, at least for this game. My other choice was going to be the one that Mike chose, so which I love that game too.
Nice. Okay. And so you said 1.5 if you were to rate it.
Yeah, today with it may go up if I play it again because I did have a lot of fun or not a lot of fun. I had more fun the second time.
You didn't hate it the second time.
Right. I still see a lot of big flaws in it, and it's way too complicated to teach people. And if everyone knew how to play and everyone had, like, I think it's another game too where your first game is going to be miserable no matter what, and your second game is going to be a little bit better.
Also, the fact that this one has a Disney license, it should have an immediate kid interest. But like Biran said, when you open it up, kind of like you brought up Marvel Crisis Protocol, open up like, I gotta.
Yes.
Glue? What? I need to buy knives.
And imagine someone new to miniatures, and that's the first miniature they're putting together. Those are nightmares.
I got my kids to get off their phones for one night to play a game, and I got to go buy knives. Like, what?
I have glue, and it's the wrong glue.
Right. I have Elmer's wood glue, not even white glue. Yeah. So I see this one. Granted, not miniatures, but what's the term? Like when you like false advertise. Yeah, sort of like false advertise. It's like fun Disney game with the family. It's like, it's not though.
It's sold at Target. How complex could it be? Oh. Yeah. I need Brian to come over and explain it to me.
That aisle at Target isn't what it used to be 20 years ago.
Yeah, they do have a lot more like games.
There's a lot more. But that doesn't mean good.
Right.
It doesn't always mean good.
I would say the vast majority are bad.
Well, they're not most of our styles. Definitely not you and me, Biran. More Mike and Brian even. Like that. Like, I just don't want to play those games. They're probably good. They probably have good rankings on Board Game Geek, but I don't want to play them. I'm glad they have them though, because it helps to normalize more of this stuff.
So I don't think we should normalize it. I think people should be ashamed.
Well, their behavior is not normalized because they're going to look at Target and
then they go play it at Grognard's.
Well, buy it on Amazon in the car and then get it in a day and go bring it to Grognard's for free.
Go bring it to Grognard's and your crock pot full of stinky soup.
Right. I can't afford to buy anything at the store, but I'm bringing my brunch in. Okay. My brunch costs more than the fucking game would cost. You know that, right?
What do you mean a Slim Jim's $2.50?
Right. I'm going to talk about tanks today.
I was wondering why that was back there.
Yeah. Why else would I display this? Shit box.
It's a floppy.
It's a British box?
It's already got a gouge. I don't even know how that got in there. Look at this. But here's the bottom of it here. I don't give a shit. I wasn't going to make this segment about miniature games, but I thought, you know what? This is, but not really. I'm never going to take a whole show about it. So it's the Quick Hits is the perfect place to talk about a game like Tanks. If you like the idea of a World War II game that uses tanks, this is the game. And it's extremely simple. Anybody can play it. And it's fun every time. What it's not is a super strategic war game.
It's not Flames of War where you got orders and infantry.
I like the idea of playing Flames of War, but I don't want, number one, I don't want to paint infantry. That's this big. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to play that game. I have other games for my war game fix, but I don't have other games for my World War II theme fix, since Axis and Allies, basically. So for me, if you watch a movie like Fury, or you just like
Fury's so good.
Yeah, like video games where you get to be a tank, it's fucking great. That's all it is. So the one thing the game has going for it, so you get some models, a couple in the box. You get two American tanks, one German tank. You get a Panther in the box. Then you can buy Gale Force 9 plastic tanks, or Flames of War tanks.
And they're the same scale as Flames of War, so they're interchangeable.
There's no metal in any of these. Like a lot of the old Flames of War kits had metal. If you can, I'd recommend getting the tanks ones because they come with cards. Now, I'll talk about an army builder where you don't need the cards anyway, but I think it's kind of cool. The cards have a throwback sort of element to it. So here you have a Panzer III card stats. You have the initiative, We'll talk about that in a second. The first number, you have how many dice you roll for attacking and defending. And for attacking only. You have the defense dice, then you have your wounds, your hit points, which you can use a dry erase and hit those.
Take it off.
You
could use the ones that came with your railroading box.
Yeah.
Those are great. They fit into a pocket or a butthole as well. Every army has an army of specific rule. Germans have blitzkrieg, extra movement. US has gung ho, which I think was something like that, but the opposite. So every army has a thing, which is kind of cool. And then most tanks don't have a thing except their stats, which is nice. Very easy on the brain power on this game.
Blitzkrieg is a rule that comes over from Flames of War.
Oh, really? They use that one in there too?
Is it called? But it is an extra bonus free move.
Yeah. So you have this card has 3 crew slots. So you can add on like a cunning driver, for example. So he takes up the driver slot. You can only have one of those. This will give you +1 initiative only in movement phase. We'll talk about why that's not just +1 initiative across the board. They have generic upgrades, sandbag armor, concrete armor, and then experienced gunner. But then they also have named characters. If you want Rommel or you want Michael Whitman, Tank Ace in yours, you could do that. And so that's kind of cool that you could actually add in characters, so to speak, in the tanks. Most of them take up the commander slot, so you don't have only one, or you only have one, but there's some drivers that are some named characters. So that's kind of cool. You can add those on the card in there. Real quick, I just want to touch on the gameplay of it. It's super simple. Your movement uses these, and you put at the front of the tank, and then you can then put this wherever and place the tank anywhere touching this. So you can either be sideways, facing that way, or forward, or whatever. So it's just kind of using this as a tool, but a multi-function tool of where you want to place the tank at the end of the movement. The initiative, that first number, here's what I like about this game most of all, probably. Obviously, higher initiative, better. Everyone knows that in most games. So in the movement phase, you go from lowest to highest initiative. Initiative 1, who's got that? Okay, you might have, I don't think there's even a whole lot of ones. You might.
It's very, very X-Wing in that aspect.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. So, all right, who's got number 2? Who's got 2s? Doesn't matter who's on what side.
2s, 3s, 3s.
All right. So they all move first. So if you have a high initiative, you get to see where everybody moved before you make your move. That's great. Phase 2 kicks in, shooting phase. Guess who's going first?
Flippy flop.
Yep, flip flop. I love that. It's so simple, and other games do it. But to me, I love that idea of initiative meaning more than one thing. Most games, it means like a speed or movement, but the fact that you can see what everyone did, and then you can react first.
And shoot first in the best position.
Shoot first, yeah. So you've got the dice you roll. There's modifiers with cover, very simple modifiers. There are modifiers if you don't move. If you do move, if the defender moves, he gets modifiers on his defense dice.
Yep.
So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of canceling. Crits are on a 6. They will reveal a card that's a critical deck. So it might just be 1 or 2 damage. Might also be, there's
something
a fighter
breaks.
inside. Yeah. Something guys.
That's like X-Wing too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a lot of those X-Wing elements. I don't find it nearly as complex as X-Wing though.
No, it doesn't sound like it
at all. This to me is, if there was additional elements in the game to throw in, I would take it because it's already super simple and easy as is. And it wouldn't ruin anything by adding in, I'm not talking about like infantry, I'm talking still tanks, but other things. Like there's some weirdness when tanks get up close. It kind of looks a little goofy sometimes. But like it's so simple and so easy and just fun because you're blowing up stuff. That's it. That's the game. And so some people play Flames of War and then could play this as a side game. I play this as an alternative to it because I don't want to play it. I want tanks. I want Flames of War tanks. They're great looking. I just don't want to do the whole business that goes with it. And that means the game, the style of gamers and all that. Tanks, you don't get any of that because they're like, oh, they just scoff.
Oh, JP froze again.
Yep.
And he's back. He's back.
He's not back.
Unstable.
JP is unstable.
While we're doing that, I was reading some of the reviews for Villainous.
Yeah.
And people online love that game.
Really?
They're like, easy to play. And I'm like, it doesn't sound like it.
I mean, it is easy to play. It's just hard to teach.
It's hard to, yeah. Well, they were saying it's easy to play, so you can just get right in. I was like, nope. So.
Oh, that was gone.
Yeah.
He'll come back.
No,
So,
I mean, once everyone knows how to play, I think it is easy to play, but it's still, there's just the interaction so limited that it's just fun. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a minus because, yeah, aside from just kind of walk. It also said it had a dogpile mechanic where, like, seems like they said people could dogpile on the leader.
I thought that's when you said something bad on Twitter and everyone yelled at you.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're back, but now you're on the bottom.
That's fine.
You're at the back of the bus.
What happened? Everything looked fine.
You froze and then you went away.
Yes.
What? Well, I know I went away.
Yeah.
I thought wow, everything, my whole world felt
The
normal.
last word that came through was scoff. Something about.
Oh, okay, good. Scoff. Period. Flames of War players, I think, would scoff at the game of tanks, and for that, I give it even bonus points. It's a great game. It gives you enough World War II setting, and it's tanks. There's a new version, World of Tanks, that have come out since then. I haven't bought it. I'm not against it. I kind of like the simplicity of this, but I probably wouldn't mind checking out those rules at some point.
So they got the license for the video game, basically?
Yeah, I thought it was just a reskin of that game with the world of to try to draw that in. That's how Todd.
Yeah.
I think there's more rules, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I bet there's a lot more tanks. I bet you, because that's the whole thing about World of Tanks. It's like every weird, obscure German tank that was on the drawing board is.
And I think World of Tanks players, they don't like. I've got a pink army. Like they just do whatever.
They would not react well to that, if you know what I'm saying. They might say something rude to you in.
I know that because it's based on the video game. Yeah. And I know people don't care about
skins.
Looking like, yeah.
People don't care about the bootlace color on your troops.
Or that antenna is too long for that command tank.
I have the correct shade of Dunkelgelb.
Yeah.
So.
But did you? Is it a late war tank, and therefore it would not necessarily have the Zimmerit on it, which was a coating they used to make it resistant to magnetic mines, but it was dumb because the Germans were the only ones using magnetic mines, so it was only resistant to their own mines?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
To all of that. It's, what's funny is there have been add-ons by the community, whatever, that have more than what was in the game, because if you have a Flames of War army, you already have some things anyway. So
right, you know what rules for the tanks you have.
Yeah, I don't think they ever came out with like a King Tiger model, but you have just you make them up and your friends, whatever. I mean, I think I don't have my phone here, but if you just Google GF9 tank army builder, there's actually a pretty good program, a freebie, works great on phones, and you pick the tank and you pick all the cards you want to add to it. I kind of like the old school idea of putting the cards in the slots on there, but theoretically you can just do that. It's a very easy army builder. I own maybe like 12 or 13 tanks, just a little sprinkling of each one, couple of each one. It's like with cards upgrades, we could play a 300-point game. Most games are like 100 or 150, but I think it'd be cool to do a bigger battle. It's so easy and so quick. It's just a lot of fun.
But we learned from Fury that you need at least 3 Sherman tanks to take on 1 Panther.
Depends who's driving. I'm just saying, or who's, I mean, I will say this, on a somewhat related note to the movie, the upgrade cards do make a huge difference.
Well, initiative sounds huge in this game. Initiative,
I mean, there's just some of these ones in here. Oh, that's the damage deck, but like they really do. I mean, you're supposed to do a reveal, by the way, like before you show your opponent the upgrades, you have them face down, tells them how many points it's worth. 1. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter. I don't care what you have. You're going to tell me what you have anyway. But I mean, some of them are just extra ammo. Discard this card to re-roll all your attack dice. Like that could be a game changer. You could roll, I think it's 4 and 5 are hits, 6 is crit. So you have a terrible roll. A 3-point card could easily change the game. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot in there. It's actually very easy to spend too much on upgrades.
You get less tanks, and then
you know what? I can just buy another tank, or I can kit everyone else. So
it's like you have a cheap Sherman with so many upgrades on it, it costs as much as a Tiger.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fun game though. It's like I said, it's something that I really do like it more because it's something that Flames of War players probably would scoff at. I like that. Like, play your game, man. Have fun in that corner there. I'm laughing about what I just blew up. You keep that rule book and all the templates out.
Well, it reminds me, Todd would run this event called Happy Tanksgiving.
Yeah.
It'd be a Flames of War event. And inevitably, there was one touched person there that brought infantry. And he's like, well, they're just better at this specific scenario. So I had to bring him. And Todd's like, whatever.
Yep.
And it just ruins it. It's like tanks, just tanks. No one cares about your infantry bullshit.
I bought this box set on Thanksgiving at the first Grognard Thanksgiving. Because he said, check this out. And Todd knows I don't really want to play the game of Flames of War, but like, check this out. And it was like $20, I think. And there was 3 tanks in there. So yeah, it's one of those where if you are of the mindset of having fun playing a game, especially showing up to a Flames of War event called Thanksgiving and making sure you bring tanks, it's fun to play and it's easy rules. So I like it a lot. It's a scale that I don't normally get to play either. I normally play everything at 28 millimeter, so I don't ever do this. So for me, it's an easy game to do that with. So yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking because I have some Flames of War tanks that I've actually painted. So I would buy the plastic tanks to get the cards, but I already painted these guys.
Well, yeah, and at this point now, I think Dean showed me the app a while back when we played at Grognard before I moved, and he was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." We were trying to figure out what kits had what cards in it, because they're different ones and different.
That's how they get you.
That is how they get you, and I don't mind. They're the packages are like $10.
Yeah,
each.
It's so cheap that who cares?
And my local store here had they were like on clearance. There was a bunch of them on clearance one day because it's so old now. But theoretically, you can just everything's in the app anyway.
Yeah.
And so Biran, we could play it. You can use what you already had painted, build your army list. You could do 150 points. You can say, I want this, 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 and this. Here are my upgrades. Print out an army list. It's actually not bad. It's better than what's the war scroll, right? It's better than those printouts.
Battle Scribe.
Or Battle Scribe. I don't know what. Yeah,
that's the one where the printouts are abominable.
Yes. Well, they're worse. Like they're all bad, but if you use Battle Scribe for like Blood Bowl or something.
Oh God, yes.
This is ridiculous.
You should use Excel.
Yeah, like even 40K, they always manage to have the page break. So you got to, like, I usually will put HTML, then make a PDF or size it. So
you have to trick it. Yeah.
But this one prints out pretty well. Very easy. It's only 4 stats for the tank, and it'll give you upgrades right underneath it. So check that out.
So what I would want is a separate iPad for each tank where I just have the full color cards on it.
You mean like put the iPads on the table? Those are the tanks?
No, those are just the cards. I still have my tanks.
Oh,
but I'd have an iPad Pro, one for each tank with the card.
Why would take it a
screen
step
on
further?
it.
Put in a 3D rendering of the tank on your iPad and just lay that out there.
Yeah. Has
anyone ever played a miniatures game using digital components?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. There was a game for the PlayStation 3 that used the PlayStation Eye camera and would project the miniatures on the thing. Yes.
It was a card game.
Yes.
And there was the PlayStation Eye, and it never worked. I never got it to work.
I got it to work, and it was cool for about 15 seconds. And I said, this game's... I would rather play this with just the cards, because you could.
There was an eye, and then it mirrored what you had on the table. Like their cards.
Yeah, and the creatures would emerge out of the card.
It was like, check your brightness settings. I'm like, this is my living room. It is what it is.
Take your console and TV outside in the sunlight.
I forgot the name of it. Someone will probably know, but it had the eye, the PlayStation Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a disappointment.
You're right. Okay. So that aside, no, it's a fun game. I mean, if you like tanks and you don't want to get too heavy into the war simulation side of it.
If you're under 70, it's for you.
Yeah. I will tell you this much: if you are 69 and your son is 49 and his son is 29 and his son is 9, you will all have a family fun day with this game.
I had intentions of, because I had a bunch, I think Adepticon was giving away a couple of different years, and I like hoarded them all. And I had intentions of assembling them and playing them on a Death Zone mat with Death Zone terrain, and having like a miniature version of combat, which we talked about earlier.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but you have to actually, when you do, it's your turn. You can't stand at the side of the table. You have to stand like over it. It's got to be like a bird's eye view.
And if you shoot off the back of the mat, it's going to come out the other side of the world.
Obviously.
Or you could have the ricochets off the walls, but every time you hit a wall, you have to call Mike over to say, where does this go?
I think tanks on hexes would work well. There you go.
Yeah.
So no, you know the beauty of this one with the whatever, the little arrows, it's, man, they make it super easy. So it's a great game.
How big's the playing field? 4x4?
3x3, I think, is what you're supposed to play.
Even better.
Best size.
Yes.
Because Dean and I last played at Grognard, but we took, I think
you were on one of his regular tables. I remember seeing you guys play.
Yeah, we took 6 inches on each side to put the cards there.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a 3x3 table.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a great game. I mean, there's really no, if there's one flaw, there should be more to do. If there's one, but that's the game.
It sounds like a good intro game to miniature gaming too.
I think it's great for I mean, especially if I do see this as like a father-son game, because your kid could, or daughter, your child could play this easily, and yet you get excited because it's something you watched on the History Channel. That's what dads like. And then like those commercials, like you're becoming your parents. But then it's something that it's so simple. And it's like, oh yeah, like I get extra dice because I moved. I'm harder to hit. You lose dice because it's a lot of that. And then a critical's a 6. Everyone loves to roll 6s and see what happens. The critical deck is really fun because you don't know what's going to happen.
It is a good mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's zero.
It's not a I go, you go game. So it's not, I'm going to have all jag and you have to
it's all based on initiative. Yep.
Yeah. So
you're constantly
go back and forth. So
there's times where I've got the Jag Panther, which is not a turret. And so
it's an anti-tank gun.
Yeah, you can only shoot straight ahead. So I always get fucked with that one. Based on
comment
initiative.
below. Technically, the Jag Panther is not a tank.
Yeah, someone would correct me on that.
Are there scenarios, or is it just kill the other side?
There are scenarios, but
you're gonna play kill the other side.
Whatever. Yeah. There's
every scenario is kill the other side till turn 4.
Yes.
Yeah, and regardless, I printed off scenarios. There's a few online. A lot of them are, use this terrain, but you're also going to use whatever you come up with. So in reality, Xtreme, that's probably where it lacks, is the I want to do more. We've already played 10 times. Now I want to do more in the game. That would require a little extra work because you want to.
If you want more depth, go play Flames of War.
Yeah, we want to come up with what are we doing? Is there an actual objective I'm trying to secure? You could. They're out there, and there's even tokens in the box, but
weather tables maybe. Oh, blinding snowstorm.
Yeah. So there could be more to that. I've never really played around with it though. If I were to give this a rating, I'd say 4 at least. I mean, I would go higher if there was more to it, but it's a solid 4 that you would not want to not play this game, especially a Thanksgiving. You're having a whole theme or something. If you have the models already, or if you either from Flames of War or you just bought some of these and you're showing friend from work, this is not like as nerdy as over half the games on your shelf. Because it's tanks, it's cool.
You're less likely to run into those weird Flames of War people that like to dress up maybe as the side they don't want, and you don't want to see them dressed up as.
Well, I would say if you own an SS hat, you're probably not playing this. You probably play
Flames of War.
Flames of War.
Yeah.
I could see. I think it would be a cool idea if they got a license and reskin this as a Twisted Metal game. like using
Oh,
the same
yeah.
mechanics.
Oh, there's no reason this couldn't be plugged with any vehicle you want. Yeah, Twisted Metal will be a blast. I got Sugar Tooth.
This could easily be that, or any post-apocalyptic.
Or modern.
Yeah, you could. I'm sure people have already come up with, because people play Team Yankee now all the time.
Yep.
People probably play that version in this.
I'm sure people printed up cards, made their own cards for Team Yankee tanks.
I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, great game.
Or how about this? Bump the scale up, 40K scale tanks. I've always thought it'd be fun to have everyone like, I'm playing Space Marines and here's my 3 tanks that I can pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like as a convention game, you know?
When you play mega battles, it ends up being a lot of vehicles anyway.
Yeah.
Just by nature of the, I want a bunch of big stuff out there.
But I want to see like a game this simple, but with the cool 40K tanks.
Right, because if you played a mega battle with tanks, after round 1, it's who wants chicken fingers?
Yes.
We're done.
You're firing one of your modern Primaris tanks and it takes 20 minutes to go through their list of weapons. No, you get 4 dice.
Yeah, there's no range in this game. So like in
if you can see it, you can hit it.
Right. In 40K tank battles, you usually start off like close enough where we're just gonna stand and shoot anyway. So my thought, whenever I walk by those games, like a Adepticon or something, I always think like, why did you even bring stuff? Like just use a fucking like a paper bag. Like it doesn't even fucking matter. You're already where you are. Just roll dice and walk away. That's I want
to parallel park 6 Bane blades along the edge.
Right.
ass to mouth.
Right. I'll 3D print 3 Bane blades in the hotel on the way in. So we're good. So no, great game. So we had a little bit of everything this time. Just like the first Quick Hits volume, we had a card game, role-playing game, board game, and a dry erase game, as I call them. This one, fun little mix. You have a bad game, Xtreme. Is that a category?
Sure.
Cautionary tale game.
A what?
A cautionary tale game.
You have a board game. You have a card game, essentially. So yeah, this is a miniatures game. So I think these are fun episodes. These games would never warrant a full review, and you don't really get into any of these. Would you say Quick Hits are all side games, or all side games are Quick Hits, or neither?
I would say all Quick Hits are side games, but not all side games are Quick Hits.
Okay.
Because we've covered games that I would not consider main games, but I have a much narrower scope when it comes to that to some of you guys.
All side games could not be a Quick Hit.
Right. Some side games require a full episode to breathe.
Okay. I like that tease.
Mm-hmm.
Comment below if you think you know what those are, because we don't.
I just made it up, so I don't know either.
Yeah.
This is Zlurpcast TV. Subscribe on YouTube. That's where you're watching this. You know, if you just watch the clip on social media, you didn't get all of this. You want all of this. Ring the bell. One day, you might say, Zlurpcast is going live. And then you can like jump in like, Biran, hey, say hi to me. Greetings from Ohio. And you got to be like, oh, I didn't see the comments, when clearly you did.
I'm in Ohio. Do me.
He's coming right for us. So follow on social media as well as Zlurpcast. Join the Zlurp Nation as well, and stay tuned next week, because every week we have a new episode. I think we're in the 40s now. At around April or so, or end of March, we're going to have 52 episodes, 1 per week. We haven't missed a week. Name another thing you watch weekly that hasn't missed a week.
Church.
Church? Are you saying you missed or they missed?
No, I think church happens every Sunday. I don't think they miss one.
Do you think that your pastor or equivalent gives it his all every Sunday though?
No, he mails it in sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. You know, I passed a gentleman at Target today.
He's got a really good co-pilot though, if you know what I mean.
I saw him looking at Villainous, and I thought, this guy needs to be saved. And it wasn't for what you thought. It was because he played already. He knew. That's all we got. Anything else, or should we do the buys? Stay tuned next week for another Biran jersey, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll have a different one next week.
Nice.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a one.